Thanks for joining us in the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, and we are enjoying this brand new studio. We got some digs, man. Got some digs. We have a guest for you. You love this guy. Everybody loves this guy, and for good reason. Ted Karras. Ted Karras is a leader, a natural-born leader. He's a leader on the football field. He's a leader off the football field. He's a leader in the community. He's got a foundation that's helping people that need help. Ted Karras is as good as it gets. And he talks about things football, things foundation, things family. The 3 F's: football, family, foundation. Not necessarily in that order of importance for Ted Karras, but he gets it all done. And he is a uniquely and remarkably talented individual. You're going to love Ted Karras. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, as always, emanating from our outstanding studios. And these studios are in our brand new building. First Star Logistics taking care of us. It's all good. And man, we got a guest for you today. I know you guys love Ted Karras. Can't get enough of Ted Karras. Neither can I. This guy is one special human being. We want to welcome him once again to our podcast world. What's up, my man?
What's up, Dave? I think I'm hitting double digits now on the show, in the trenches.
I love it.
New studio's looking great.
You're a master in the trenches, so we got to get the master. You know, you're the guy for sure. Congratulations on your contract extension. Well earned, well deserved.
Thank you very much. Very excited. Very grateful to the Brown family, the Blackburn family, to hopefully finish out my career here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think that's a done deal. I mean, you are just a huge factor, not only on the football team, but in the community with all that you're doing in the community as well. Give us an update on the foundation, Cincy Hats. What's happening, my man?
Well, Cincy Hat, our CEO, Matt Reaney, Cincy Hat Matt, he just got married this past weekend. So
sweet.
Yeah, we're taking he's going to Greece for 2 weeks. So wow. It's going to be kind of like a Cincy Hat summer break. He told everyone that. So he's shipped a bunch of orders out this morning. He's flying out to Greece today. So he's all over it. But we got some really exciting stuff coming, some big housing development coming to Cincinnati. We'll keep you updated on the 38-unit condo that is almost complete. Nice. At the Village of Marici, and that's thanks to all the donations and hat purchases. And, those units got filled within 5 minutes. I mean, that's how underserved this need is. And, we're going to keep chipping away at these extensive wait lists. And now come across the border here to Cincinnati and start, building some infrastructure for the community of adults with disabilities here in our great city and state.
That's phenomenal, Ted. I mean, what kind of dollars have you raised Cincy Hats and the foundation? I mean, you've done incredible work. What kind of dollars have you been able to generate for the cause?
Well, we're coming up on our third season between Cincy Hat and Indy Hat, and we're closing on about $2 million gross.
Man, good for you.
So that'll be coming up soon. I don't have the latest figures, but I know that it's been just a steady stream of generosity and enthusiasm from this fan base, and something I'll always be grateful for. And I feel so blessed that I kind of not fell into, but was given this purpose to champion through these hats, and how organic it all came. And so we have some really cool stuff in the works as far as some big developments. And I'm going to continue to be an advocate and champion for infrastructure for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and be able to hopefully provide the city with a gem and a new precedent of care and lifestyle for these adults.
Unbelievable. I mean, you're definitely a leader on the football team and a leader in the community as well. There's absolutely no question about that. And you look at it, we've talked about it before, the Karras family, your grandfather, your father. I mean, you guys are all champions, man. The Karras family is a bunch of winners, and Ted Karras, two-time Super Bowl champion. And the offensive line that you're a part of, 4 starters, 6 Super Bowls amongst those 4 starters when you factor in Trent Brown into that equation. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, to me, it's like if I'm on the team, I'm looking at that group of guys in the offense. These guys, man, they've reached the pinnacle. They've won. They've already done what I aspire to do. I'm going to listen. I'm going to learn. I mean, it's a good dynamic that's going on in this football team, isn't it?
It is. And, the great thing about football is that every year it's a fresh start. And the challenge then, refreshes. And, none of us have reached that pinnacle in a little bit. I was 2018. I think, Capo was in 2020 with Tom. But, we've, the challenge is reset. And we're going out here. I'm sure everyone's taking their break, which is very necessary emotionally and spiritually. But when we get back together here in a month, our goal is very clear, and that's to win the championship. But there is much to be done before that. I think we did a good job this year. I think last year we kind of got bogged down, in almost a false sense of security that we were going to be in the Final Four and didn't even make the dance. And I think guys really took that to heart. And we need to show up ready to go to be able to have a great training camp, knock on wood, healthy training camp for everyone, and start this season fast. And, we have such a great opportunity with 2 AFC teams right off the rip to put ourselves at the top of the conference. I feel like the last 2 years we've been playing from behind. We've been playing catch up, and finding our stride in October, November. But if we can focus all our energies on having a productive and victorious September, we will be able to then find our stride and play from a lead in what is a very competitive division and conference.
Well, yeah, you look at the AFC North. I mean, it's crazy competitive. Everybody finished 500 or better. The Bengals going 9-8, and of course Joe Burrow unable to play for an extensive time in that season, but you got great performance at the quarterback position nonetheless. And I mean, you look at it, I think it's 1958. I think I recall reading where the last time every member of a division in the National Football League finished above 500. 1958. I mean, geez, that's crazy. So it just speaks to how strong the division is. I mean, there's no question that first and foremost, you have to take care of business and division. But if you can take care of business and division, you can take care of business, period, can't you?
Now, AFC North is definitely the big leagues. I think the HBO doing the in-season Hard Knocks has recognized that.
Yep.
I'm sure that'll be a fun adventure for all of us. But, this is a division where we're kind of the outlier, really, in our division. I would say it's we're probably the most pass heavy of a run heavy division. So, I think Dan Pitcher's done a great job taking over this offense. Him, Frank, and Zach. I thought we had an extremely productive spring. Everyone's very serious and locked in to what they need to do to help this team win. And, ultimately it comes down to the players and the players' performance. And I think that everyone has put themselves in a position to do their job at the best of their ability, which will translate to wins, not only in the division, in the conference, but in the league as a whole.
You've been around the league for a while, Ted, and experienced great success. And you've got a template, I'm sure, as of now, as to what boxes you're going to check to make sure you're ready to achieve more success. You share those, or is that something that it's yourself? It's self-motivating and all that. You share it with your teammates. How do you handle that part of it as they do go to break? It's like this is a dangerous time potentially for some young guys that haven't maybe experienced it as such. You can fall out of shape quickly if you don't do anything, and you got to make sure that you do something, but you don't want to overdo it. And I mean, I don't know how much experimentation you've done in this time frame in your career, but I know right now you probably got a pretty good formula for success. Do you share that?
I do. When people ask, and I'm a big advocate of taking your break away from football, and you can maintain yourself at least until July 1st. I go pretty hard year round, but it is important mentally and emotionally to get away, to take a break, because we have 8 months that's really going to stress your competitive stamina.
Yeah.
And one thing I tell guys too, I mean, you can run yourself into the ground, conditioning in the summer. Nothing's gonna condition you for what an actual football practice is. So what I tell guys is, obviously don't be sloppy, but you don't need to run yourself into a ground. What my goal is that I know that my cardio is going to get tested when I get there, and the adrenaline of being in a practice will help you overcome that, and you will quickly acclimate into that. What I do run for is so that my legs have the stamina to hold up for a 2-hour running session.
Sure.
So I'm not running for 2 hours, but I want to make sure like you can always overcome cardio and kind of will yourself through that when you get in the opening of camp.
Yep.
But if your legs do not have the stamina, if your legs go, then that becomes a problem. So what I do tell guys is, especially O-line, which is a little bit different, is run and do drills that will get your legs, just in shape, just to move for that amount of time every practice.
Well, you're so right. I mean, I can remember during the course of my career, a couple of defensive tackles in particular. These guys were weight room freaks from the waist up. I mean, they could bench press the world. They didn't work their legs. And once their legs went, they couldn't get themselves in position to do the damage that they should have been doing. I mean, it's like, you got to take care of the whole body, not just, specific body parts. It has to be the body in its entirety, man. That's huge advice, because when the legs go, that's a problem, man. No doubt.
Because you're going to be tired in camp. I mean, I run, in the summer, but there's nothing that's going to prepare you for individual one-on-ones, inside run team from a cardio level, at least.
Right.
I mean, that's what training camp is for. So you just want to make sure that you have your, body can handle it, and you're going to have to overcome some cardio and some wind. And that's just the reality of what football is. And that's what training camp is for.
Yeah, there's absolutely no question. So what do you do? You've got a wife, beautiful girl. You're a family guy. So you're doing some of your foundation stuff. You got your family, you got football. I mean, the 3 F's: football, family, foundation. I mean, Ted Karras, he's F cubed, man. He's the letter F is big in your life. How do you find time? How do you divide your day? How do you compose your week? How do you do it all, man?
Well, I do love coming to Florida. We've been in Florida since COVID because we played for the Dolphins, and I really don't have any obligations down here except to my family and to working out. So our day is our own down here. It's a lot of fun. My wife works out in the morning, so I get little Penny in the morning shift. Rachel just actually took over. She got back from her workout, and then I hit a yoga. Maybe read in the sun a little bit, yoga in the sun, read in the sun. Then I'll go to the park and run and try to hit a lift around 3 or 4 p.m. I drive because we're redoing our house down here. So all that's left is the weight room right now. But I kept it up. So that's where I go, just work out in my garage and really just focus on eating good, hanging out, really just reading and working out all summer.
So have you been following your quarterback and his and your wide receiver and everybody over in Europe and all their exploits over there?
It sure looked like a lot of fun.
I'm telling you, man, the guy
he should have been a QB, Dave. We should have been QBs.
I'm telling you, man, he's got another whole career with modeling those clothes, man. He looks like he's running the cover of GQ. He'd be comfortable,
He looked great. I thought he killed it, and that looked like a lot of fun. I'm sure that was a great experience. I think it's cool how the NFL had a big presence over there with the Olympics coming to France and, Fashion Week, and guys getting to experience, different cultures. And I was glad that he got home safe and, that he's, going to be ready to go. But again, that goes back to make sure you take your break and go see something and go do something, or, do it however you need to do to, physically relax is one thing. but to emotionally relax is a big deal, especially as they're talking about adding games to the season, maybe pushing up the start date. The number one factor of success I've seen of guys in the NFL is, are they able to have competitive stamina? Are you able to show up for 8 months straight with someone trying to take your lunch? And that's what this league is. So make sure you get away from ball, because it's coming soon, and we're going to be ready, but it ain't time yet.
So you got you draft a lineman in the first round, Bims. You draft a lineman in the 7th round. That would be Lee. Another couple of guys in free agency. I know I've watched it. I've seen it. I mean, these young offensive linemen, they're going to try to tap into Ted Karras' brain, man. They're going to try to get as much knowledge from Ted Karras as they possibly can. My question is, you're great with that. I mean, the young defensive linemen that you're working against, Chris Jenkins, McKinley Jackson, guys of that ilk, do you also give them some thoughts about, man, I'll tell you what, this has been a beast to try to handle over the years in the National Football League, work on this, work on that. What kind of conversations do you have with guys on your side of the ball and guys on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage?
Well, for the D lineman, I've got to know Chris Jenkins pretty well. He's a great guy. What a great addition. Will be a solid professional, and hopefully even more than that. We don't know as rookies, but
sure.
I'll probably hold a little bit more advice to them till about halfway through camp. We'll let them, I'll set my pads on them a little bit. We don't want to make it too easy for the rooks.
Yeah, gotcha.
But then, once we get through kind of that first meet at camp, start telling them, what I see in their stance, or, hey, like that's, probably not going to work. But they have such, great leadership in that room too. And then led by my Marion Hobby and Mark Duffner. I think they do a great job developing defensive linemen. But, as the relationships between O-line and D-line will be organic throughout training camp. There's going to be some hostility, and that's part of this game. But then as we move towards focusing our efforts on our opponents is when, those relationships really blossom. And then as you get into scout teams and stuff like that, you develop a working relationship with these guys, and off the field as well. As far as for O-linemen, the biggest thing I tell young O-linemen is a piece of advice that I got early on in my career was, don't make the same mistake twice. No repeat misses, no repeat errors. So you're going to make mistakes. This is the big leagues now, and you're coming from college. It's a new language. It's players that you've never seen before, way better. You've always been kind of the top of your team. Now you're towards the bottom and figuring it out on the run. But as far as, going like assignment and, technique, don't make the same mistake twice. Now you're going to get beat sometimes, especially as a rook. And I'm not counting that as a mistake, but if you go the wrong way in a run or you misidentify a protection, those are things that you can control. And like I tell them, the grace period for mistakes with that is one time. And then you got to lock that into your brain. So I think a lot of those guys have taken that to heart. I'm really impressed with Amarius Mims. I think he did a great job for what the spring is, to come in as a 21-year-old rookie tackle, mountain of a man. He did exactly what you would hope that player would do, and developed relationships with his teammates, started to earn trust of, the offensive line and the offensive unit as a whole, right, and the coaching staff as well. So I'm really excited for what we have in our offensive line. I mean, especially our tackles. We have the biggest tackle room maybe in history, and really, let's do something with it. Everyone's got to bring their A game and continue to develop that trust as we crescendo into a week 1 victory against the Patriots.
I don't know about your rookie year, but my rookie year, I remember vividly. Mike Reed was an all-pro defensive tackle, came out of Penn State, first-round pick by the Bengals, high first-round pick by the Bengals, unbelievable quickness, unbelievable pass rusher, and had Ron Carpenter as another defensive tackle. They had a good unit of defensive tackles, and I'm a snot-nosed rookie just trying to make the team, and my offensive line coach, Tiger Johnson's like, dude, go all – this is your game. these snaps are your game. Get after them, And they hated me because I was going all out. I mean, if my offensive line coach says, you got to go all out, I'm going all out. And, man, they just hated me because they didn't want to be in that situation. They'd already proven themselves Pro Bowl, Mike Reed and all that. But even, we had some skirmishes, I guess is a polite way to put it, during practices. But after practices in the locker room, he'd be like, you know what, man, you drive me nuts. You're pissing me off, but continue to do this. Don't do this, man. It's too easy to read. Try this, He was unbelievable. And I think, and like you mentioned, first and foremost, your coaches, you got to listen and do what your coaches want from a technique standpoint and all that. But, man, when you can get useful, productive instruction and help from a teammate that's been there, done that for a number of years, if a veteran player is willing, like you said, it's cutthroat. I mean, it's dog eat dog, man. But you're like a guy like you who's willing to share with the younger guys that, are fighting maybe for the same job he is. I think that's what makes a team a special team,
I agree. And I think we have such great leaders on this team. We got a lot of guys, that aren't captains that very much act like it. I give a lot of credit to this front office, Duke and Mike Brown, Katie, Troy, Steve Radicevich. They brought in Zach. They brought in, so many high quality gentlemen that, I feel like I get a lot of credit for being a leader. It's very easy to lead this team because we have guys who are made of the right stuff, who want to win, and who love football for playing football, not just everything else that comes with being in the NFL. And I think we have a very serious team that we need to go out there and show it and, be at our very best, not only for ourselves and this fan base, but for this city and who's been behind us for so long. We need to go out there and win one for them.
What impressed you most about how Jake Browning handled everything last year?
Well, I'm a huge Jake Browning guy. He's lived at my house for several training camps. He is, I knew we were going to be okay because he had already earned the trust of his teammates through the way that he handles himself at practice and performs and develops relationships, because that's such a big part of, I think, quarterback success and why Joe's so good and why I've been pretty spoiled with quarterbacks in my career between Tom, Joe, Jake Browning, Ryan Fitzpatrick, guys that create relationships with their players, because everyone's looking to you at quarterback. It is what it is. It's the most important position in sports.
Yep.
And if you can have rapport from top to bottom on the roster, I know that's not always possible in a huge way, but to develop some type of rapport with your teammates goes a long way, especially in offensive production, I feel. And Jake had those relationships already in place. We believed in him, and he believed in us. And we got enough done. We didn't quite get it done all the way, which is a disappointment that we've sat with for the last 6 months. But now moving forward, we're going in with Joe. We got a great backup in Jake. Hopefully we don't have to see Jake at all this year. But I'm really proud of him because he set himself up to have, such a great career and prove that he can be a starter, especially in a league that's very hungry and in need of competent quarterback play.
So you mentioned, the quarterback position, and I agree wholeheartedly. It's without a doubt the most important position in sports. Boy, there's been a lot of shakedown or change at the skill positions as well. Running back with Moss at the running back position, Burton at the wide receiver position. You got some new tight ends. What do you think of? I know it's just been underwear ball and all that, but first blush, your knee-jerk reaction. What do you think of some of the new skill guys that you've got? They're going to be huddling up with.
I think Mike G and Joe Burrow were meant to play with each other. I think Mike G is perfect for this offense. I think this fan base is going to see some really cool things out of him. I played with him in Miami.
Right.
A great guy and a supreme talent. at the tight end position. Very, very unique in what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Zach has done everything that we need a running back to do. I mean, he looks the part big time. And if you go back and look at some of his third down blocking highlights, that's a huge part of our offense and what we need a back to do. Yeah. And he's one of the tops in the league at it.
Yeah.
We're really excited for Chase Brown as well. Another Illinois guy and a guy that is, I think he had one of the fastest times last year. He's one of the most explosive players in this league. You see him squat and you know why. I mean, he's strong for that, for being kind of a smaller back. And
talk about legs, huh?
I mean, he's really gonna have a big year. We need him to have a big year and have a big rushing and receiving performance. Really glad to have Vaughn back. I think that's a great piece back in our defense. I think we're kind of gluttonous on great safeties right now with Jordan Battle. I know Dax is moving around, Von Bell, Geno Stone, and that's a big part of our defense. And I think it's going to be a huge help, to get back to, the level of play that they're accustomed to.
Ted, I can't thank you enough for taking time. I know you're, like you talked about, you guys are busy raising a family and everything you got going on. You to carve time for us means a lot. I know the fans really appreciate it, really enjoy it. They can't get enough of Ted Karras, is the man with a capital K. And, tip of the cap to your family. What an unbelievable first family of football, the Karras family. Man, success. Every generation, third generation of success. That's gonna feel great. And you're a great human being, my man.
Well, thank you so much, Dave. Anytime, and I'll see you here in a month, sir.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait.
You. Have a great rest of your summer.
You too. Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.